and it seems to be the day of all my neighbours making lots of noise. Next door neighbours have had some industrial equipment going for an hour or so, and then you've got this guy with up ahead here with a buzzsaw happening, or chainsaw. So I'm heading down to the beach because I'm just want to walk, and hopefully it'll give me some relief with the back pain that I've been suffering the last few days. And it's pretty bad because I can't I'll just wait till I get past. Oh no, it looks like they're quieting down. Yeah, I'll just I need to loosen up the back so that I can have more dexterity, because I can't even really bend much at the moment. I can't. Just putting on underwear and stuff, you know, shoes and underwear and that type of thing is a real hassle. So it's quite painful to do. So I couldn't even contemplate getting on the bike. I guess one thing I don't have is a hangover from yesterday, which is surprising because I had an absolute crap load of red wine at Steve's place. And I feel pretty guilty actually, because he's such a good host that I just kept drinking, and I really do owe him a few bottles of wine, there's no doubt about it. He also cooked up a really nice lunch. It was chicken and barbecue chicken. He's got the proper barbecue equipment, and yeah, it was very nice. Jalapeno, what do they call it? Jalapeno peppers, and yeah, it was very nice, very nice. You know, I think, you know, like restaurant quality, I think he's a very good chef. I think because he was very conscientious about doing his cooking, and I think that's a sign of someone that's going to do a good job. Because, you know, you need to be attentive as a cook to make a decent meal, I think. So, but he was saying that, because he and his other half, both of them have had back issues, and they just do a lot of walking. And I looked it up online, and apparently it is the consensus that really walking is the way to go if you're having difficulties with your back. Over the years I've been pretty good with back ache and what have you, but I think I've got some spinal injuries because I've got sort of numbness in my feet, so I've jarred my spine at some stage, I think. So, but it's like nothing unusual about it, but I don't want to be travelling overseas like this, you know. It'll be a real downer, and I'm considering pulling out. I think I can cancel my accommodation. I can change the dates of the flight and all that sort of thing if I need to. I'll blow $450 on the Vietjet flights. I can't do much about them, but and I did get the visas organised, so I paid for those. So yeah, there's a few things there. I'm going to be seeing seeing the doc tomorrow, so that'd be a good opportunity to have a chat with her about it and see what she thinks. You know, it'd be disappointing not to go on the trip, but I don't think there's any point going on an overseas trip solo if you've got a health cloud hanging over you. So we'll see what she has to say tomorrow, give me some idea about it. But yeah, it could be, yeah, travelling by yourself, it can be a hassle at the best of times. But if you're feeling under the weather, your mobility's compromised because you've got a crook back. Yeah, that just makes it difficult. So anyway, this is Sunday, and I'm actually walking down the beach, which is something I don't normally do. I'm glad I'm doing it today because I don't know if my neighbour's going to be making more noise with that. I don't know what they're doing. Sounds like draining equipment or something. It's noisy as hell. Just not ideal for a Sunday morning. I was over at Steve's place, I said yesterday, Steve and Yvonne's place. Really nice house they've got there. Puts mine to shame, that's for sure. Mine's like a shack compared to their place. I think they did well. I think they offered more than I think they've offered more than the asking price for it, and they got it, of course. But I don't think it's a bad. I think they got a reasonable deal, to be honest. It's a 5-bedroom place, large place, same size block of land, but they've got a pool and they've got a much better setup outdoor entertainment area than I've got. And and a huge living room, kitchen living area. It's gigantic. So yeah, it's certainly a cut above my place, no doubt about it. Yeah, it was very quiet there. Their neighbours, didn't hear a sound from their neighbours. So maybe that's another bonus for them. I don't know. Might be just a lucky day, but anyway, it was great catching up. But I feel guilty today because I drank so much. It's just, I wish I did ask to bring stuff. I wish I had brought stuff along. There was another person there and they'd bought a salad, and I turned up with nothing. And I did ask them beforehand what they wanted, but and it's been a bit difficult for me getting around, but I could have bought something on Friday at the when I was up at the having my blood test, because the liquor land's just there. Although it was probably before opening hours when I think about it. But yeah, I hope they haven't got bad hangovers. I sent a message to them, I haven't heard back, but yeah. So anyway, that was very, very pleasant. Very pleasant. They've got a great setup, not only the cooking stuff and the table outside, and they've actually got a TV screen there as well. It's like a little sports bar. It's very nice. Perfect for this sort of weather. Yeah, living the dream, really. The full potential of living in far north Queensland. You have a house like that, you really do live the dream. And I think as time goes by, getting a house like that is going to be harder and harder in a location this close to the beach. They're slightly closer to me than the beach, another block down the road. So they're in a pretty prime location. So this is Alex's place. Looks like they're still trying to sell $12 million house. I guess it takes a while to sell that, but yeah, I know he's in no financial stress. I think he's fine. He doesn't need the money. Although you never know, sometimes things like that can surprise you if you don't know all the details. That people might look as though they're doing brilliantly, but they're not. It's quite quiet down here. No, I haven't passed by anybody walking down today. So yeah, we'll see how my back feels after this. It's only like a 10-minute walk each way. So I just don't feel up to doing a long walk. I mean, Steve and Yvonne will walk for hours, literally hours. So they're really into it. Mind you, if it's making their back, if it's helping their back health, I think it makes a lot of sense. It's certainly good for your overall health. So anyway, yeah, no, it's a lovely area here, and I'm very glad that I've moved to this part of Cairns. It's chalk and cheese compared to being down in central Cairns, in my opinion. Oh, looking forward to seeing the waves. I've not been down to the beach for maybe 2 months. It's just ridiculous. So I'll try to get a few visits in if I do bite the bullet and head off OS before I actually leave. Is in the sand, the soft sand, you can see the telltale signs of dogs, dog prints, paws. I haven't even taken my sandals off this time because I mean bending down is difficult. I'll have to go and got a bit of grit there, but what I might do is just go to the barbecue area and I'll just clean them up there. But it's a beautiful day, picture perfect day here at Kewarra Beach. So yeah, I think this is a pretty good beach, and it's pretty well deserted. It's amazing. Like there's 5,000 residents in Kewarra Beach, the suburb, and yet you don't see that many of us down here. Well, like I say, I don't come down here that often. Maybe once a month. Should do it more often, but I've really got to do this walk today just to see if it gives me any relief in this back pain, lower back pain I've got. Yeah, it's very quiet today, very nice. People must, there's a slight breeze which is taking a bit of the edge off It's not hot, it's just pleasant. Perfect day to have a stroll on the beach, really. This is a very underutilised beach. That's towards Trinity Beach over there. You can cut across. There's a sort of a rutted pathway. It's not easy. You need a four-wheel drive if you actually had a vehicle. It's a pretty rough track, but you can get across there. And then we're looking up towards Clifton Beach there. So, I think there's some people just up ahead here, but you can hear them under the shade. What I do is actually swim in that enclosed area. That would actually be fairly good for me right at the moment. Maybe I should go back and put my togs on and finally take a dip. It's a beautiful day for it. So it looks like it's all open and no problem today. It's good. What I want to do is see if I can find out about the progress made on this bike trail. Apparently they're moving some foliage away down here to get commence construction of it. So hopefully I'll see everything. There's a few people around the barbecue area. It's usually busy down this end. Being Sunday makes perfect sense. So just further down here you should see evidence of a path being made to go to the bridge they're going to construct over Deep Creek, so you can ride your bike the whole distance. Oh well, that was okay. I think I survived that alright. I don't think I want to do any longer walk than this. It's getting a bit warm anyway at this time of day. It's getting close to midday. And yeah, there's a young lady walking her dog, and said hello and down the bike path there. So it's nice. It's a nice area. Friendly people. It's good. I think I picked the one car coming down the road today. It's very light traffic, but I think I might have heard the bus. Oh, a couple of cars. There you go. That's a great view. I love that view. Never tired of that view. It's very picturesque. Yeah, it's one of the nicest urban views around, I think. Whew. Have a cold drink when I get back. I don't know if my back's any better. Hopefully it is. We'll see. But I think you'd have to. I think the recommendation was half hour to an hour's walk every 2 days online. But of course everyone's different. Little dog there by itself. You usually see dogs on leads around here. Of course, in a place like Thailand, you see packs of dogs just roaming streets. It's a different situation. A lot of homeless pets in Southeast Asia. Well, there's a fair few here actually. It's one thing that I heard yesterday, and I hadn't even thought about this, but apparently there's a foster system you can have that they have for pets here, where you look after pets and they can stay at your home for a short time, but you're only there for a short period basically. And that might be something that would actually suit me, because the only reason I haven't had pets is because I'm travelling overseas. But if I can get, say, animals in for short term, that would work for me. It's not as good as having a lifelong pet companion, but it's better than nothing, I guess. So yeah, there's a couple of, you got the foster option. You basically you're not up for any costs, but you need to look after the animal. Obviously, I think they may pay for the food, I'm not sure, but the other option is boarding for people. They pay about $30 a day if you take on an animal under a boarding situation. I suppose if people are travelling and they need somewhere to put their animal, I suppose it's cheaper than sending it to a formal boarding place for pets, because that can be very expensive. But yeah, apparently they pay $30 a day. So that's the other option. So these are things I hadn't even thought about, but you know, there are different ways of doing things. Mind you, I can't even look after myself at the moment with my back, so I couldn't. The responsibility of looking after pets is just not something I wouldn't even contemplate right now. But yeah, there was a couple of dogs at Stephen Yvonne's place yesterday. Kathy, a friend of hers, came over and she had a dog who was playing with their dog, having a wow of a time. And you know, it is good. I do like pets, but it was just that practical constraint. So at least it's got me thinking. So that's the good thing. There are options. In the afternoon, and this is my second therapeutic walk to the beach. And I don't know, I think maybe it did help, because well, I had to lie down on the bed after I returned from the morning walk, and I did notice a little less pain when I was lying on my side, so that might be a good sign. I spoke to a friend who rang from Melbourne and later today, and he confirmed that walking is definitely a good thing to do when you've got this sort of problem. So look, I'll just keep doing that for the next few days. The first cancellation deadline for the 4 nights in Bali is in 2 days, so I've got a little bit of wiggle room there, and it's about a week for the booking in Vietnam, which is the big one anyway. But I've already committed over $100 to the trip, plus the $450 for the Vietjet flight, so I'll lose $550 bare minimum if I do cancel, which is not great, but I suppose it happens. It's never happened to me. I've never actually blown money I've spent on trips before, but obviously it happens a lot, and especially if you've got family situation. As I'm getting older, I think it's going to be harder to avoid that, because health issues are more prominent than they were in the past. So you've got to factor that all in. So it's a little less sunny, which is good. Bit of a breeze, again, not bad. I'll just have to get into a routine here. I mean, I enjoyed the bike rides to the GPs, and GP said I should have continued on with that. But I mean, if I don't have a purpose, it's difficult. And I've given a purpose here because obviously only a madman would want to endure back pain. It's not fun. And especially on the cusp of a trip overseas, it's something you just don't want or need. So I got a bit of goss from down south as well about someone that my friend who may want to spend a week up here in winter if you get a cheap airfare. He said his friend had some health issues, like a hip replacement. He's only about 63, I think, this guy. I've met him, and I'm not a huge fan. I don't think my friend is either a huge fan of his, but he's obviously keeping in contact with him. But he's also got major heart issues as well. So Yeah, there's always people worse than yourself, and that he's travelling around Australia with his Vietnamese wife. So there you go. But yeah, he just a bit of gossip, they're walking to the MCG to watch a Melbourne-Sydney match, AFL match, and it takes them about 40 minutes to get from my friend's place in South Melbourne to the ground, and they avoid the Grand Prix that way because he actually lives in South Melbourne near Albert Park, so he gets the jet flyovers, and you can hear the Formula One cars quite easily from where he lives. So it's the one day in the year you really don't want to be living there. But as opposed to here, that where it's just Sleepy Hollow. I also discovered, speaking of Formula Ones, I went to Valencia, and I must have actually, when I went to Valencia, I noticed there's all this open area, and it looked like the roadways were available and things. I think apparently it was part of a Grand Prix track. I think they had a Grand Prix based in Valencia, Spain at one stage. So not my favourite city in Spain, but it was alright. Yeah, I have to force myself to walk. It's not a super pleasant thing. I'm definitely carrying probably a few kilos extra. 86 kilos at the moment. A friend was telling me this. He knew someone who's morbidly obese or something. They're about 150 kilos. Jesus, that's almost twice my weight. That's staggering. I would probably like to be down to probably about 82. I could easily lose 4 kilos. I'm not eating today. I will have a drink though, even though I hit the red wine really hard yesterday. And he told me that he actually went for a swim down here where the nets are. He came out of the pool and found someone had nicked his sandals. Actually, apparently they're worth a bit, which makes it even worse, I guess. But pretty inconsiderate, nicking someone's footwear when they're in the water. I mean, God, that's a low act. So as low as nicking people's pets. Apparently that's been happening in a certain suburb in Cairns, and it's certainly really pissed off the people living in that neighbourhood, which is understandable. I mean, it's you know, you've got an emotional bond with your animals, so you don't, you know, someone just nicking it. It's not like it's just something valuable or like some electronics or something. It's a living creature that you've got a bond with, and just taking them out of your house, that's pretty bad, I think. I just got passed by 2 kids on electric scooters, so there you go. They're still out here. I also got a few things for my trip sorted out, like getting some stuff ready for hard copies. I've got the visa, the e-visa for Bali. That's already ready to go. And get that. I'll go down to Officeworks tomorrow and get that done. Get a printout. Got the tickets, the airline tickets, and as usual, the hardest one to get was Jetstar, because for some reason they just send it to you as an email. I wish they just had it as a separate, like, PDF type attachment for the booking, but no, that'd be far too easy. You have to go and I had to do a screen, take a screenshot and then go into another program, the Paint 3D program, to actually to basically crop the image, and so it's now ready to be printed. I had to also change the format of that document as well. So yeah, good old Jetstar, they always make life difficult. Whereas the Vietjet one, that was fine, that was all ready to go. So Vietjet can get their act together, but not Jetstar. Well, hopefully there'll be some changes once Alan Joyce finally leaves. He's been there 15 years, and the word is he is going out. He's leaving. And I think it'd be a fantastic move, because I don't know who's going to replace him, whether they'll be better. I can't imagine them being worse. So we'll see. But 15 years as a CEO is quite a long time. I thought he'd try to hold on to it for life, like do a Putin or a Xi Jinping. Hold on to his powerful position forever, but no. Now whether that's voluntary or not, that's another question. There may well have been whispers to him saying, Alan, time to leave. You've outlived your usefulness. So it may well have occurred. But I don't care. It's change is as good as a holiday in my opinion. And hopefully who takes over can bring in some improvements in Jetstar. I mean, they've got a lot of work to do in my opinion. I don't trust them as far as I can throw them. Just because I've got a booking doesn't mean that the plane's going to actually be there on that day. Because they dudded me last time with my connection to Sydney and caused me no end of stress. And I don't forget that sort of stuff. And that's why I think they're now rated as one of the worst airlines in the world. So that takes some work to get that bad a reputation, but good old Al pal, he's done it. He's helped them go scrape the bottom of the barrel. I don't think Qantas is actually that highly regarded anymore either. In safety terms, yes, I think they've got that mantle still of being the safest airline. But apart from that, I mean, there's some stupid cost-cutting stuff that he's brought in. I don't really like. I like dealing with people in check-in, but he wants to have everything automated. And of course, that's okay if you're able-bodied. I've got crappy eyesight, and it's good to have human assistance, I think. So, yes, one thing, that's just my opinion on it. But I mean, they are cheap. Their safety record, Jetstar's safety record, that is better than, say, AirAsia. I won't even touch AirAsia anymore. I'd have to be very desperate to get that particular flight. It's low on my list because their safety rating is definitely lower than Jetstar's. So, not that Jetstar's is A1, but it's at least sort of first world type safety rating compared to I mean, Malaysian aviation has had some pretty rough runs in the last few years. Well, the big one, of course, was the missing plane, and that was a Malaysian Airlines plane, if I recall. One of the Malaysian ones did get shot down over Ukraine, and that's a route that I took personally to get to France. So just lucky, pure luck. I wasn't on the plane that was targeted by rockets. But you live and learn, and try to minimise risks after that, of course. Oh, yeah, I'll tell you what, 40 minutes of walking today, I think that's about all I can handle. But look, I might ramp it up. Please consider subscribing to my channel if you think there's anything there of use to you, or entertainment or whatever. And either do that or give me a thumbs up, or if you're feeling really energetic, do both. That'd be great.